Hello mga kugmo! So nandito tayo ngayon sa Brain Blitz TV Hub. So this is going to be our place for us to discuss small things in 15 minutes, and we will be talking about topics that is very important and essential for those nursing students who wants to have an improvement in their performance in school, and at the same time in preparation for the board examination and whatsoever. And we'll be talking about nursing in 15 minutes. So today we will be answering the question, how to enhance my study habits. So we'll be having learning 5C's. Okay, but before that, let's have this. Welcome back mga kugmo. So KUGMO for me is defined as knowledge usage for greater memory operation. So this is a term that's just very simple, but it has a very high impact to those students. It's because this will actually teach you to use your knowledge every day, since we will be using our brain every day, and if it's gonna be used every day, it means that there will be greater operations in it, and at the same time greater memory retention. So as what I promised, we will be answering today the question, how to enhance my study habits. So learning the 5C's. So we say learning the 5C's, it means that there are specific techniques that I have been using in the past years in my baccalaureate degrees, in my master's program. At the same time today, as of today, I'm actually using that one. It's because I am still teaching, and teaching is gonna be my passion. Okay, so today we'll talk about the 5C's of improving your study habits. Okay, let's begin with C number 1. Our C number 1 is gonna be calendar. Okay, so when we say calendar, it means that it will be very important for us to have a copy of the schedule of those subjects that we want to focus, those subjects that we want to study. So it will be very important for us to have this calendar, is because we will plot in the calendar what subject are we going to study on that day, what subject are we going to focus on that day, or what subject will have more time with several days that we're going to talk about this subject. Okay, so it will also be very important to have this calendar, because this calendar will tell us when is gonna be the examination. So this will orient us on dates, especially on the examinations that we will be taking in the future. Okay, so again, C number 1 is calendar. Okay, so let's now have C number 2. Our C number 2 is gonna be clock, or it's very important for us to have this watched in us, or a clock written on our wall or placed on our wall. It's because it will be very important for us to have this clock that will orient us with time. So for me, as per experience, I usually study at dawn time, or sa madaling araw na po. It's because for me, it will have more retention if I'm going to study if my brain is well rested. So it will be very important that when you arrive home after having your dinner, after having your small chit chat in Facebook, it will be very important for us to have our time for sleep. So it will be very important for us to have our brain well rested before we study, because if the brain is totally concentrated with information, you will not anymore retain any information if you will study during the night after your dinner. Okay, so in order for us to answer our call of nature, which is gonna be to sleep, is because after dinner we usually feel sleepy. So it will be very important for us to just sleep and have our brain rest for a while and wake up at around 2 a.m. It's because it's the best time for you to study at dawn time. Okay, so again, our first letter C is calendar, and our second letter C is clock. Let's now have our third letter C. Our third letter C is, we're talking about coffee. Okay, so it will be very important for us to have a good source of coffee. So when we say coffee, it means that we have to drink coffee, because caffeine is actually going to be an important substance that will improve the cardiac function. So when you say improve the cardiac function, it means that this coffee stimulates our heart to pump more blood. So sometimes they said that coffee will cause palpitations, coffee will cause nervousness, but because they're using coffee more than the usual. Okay, so as what I practiced before, I have been using coffee, I have been drinking coffee 1 or 2 cups per night, or 1 or 2 cups when I actually study. It's because, as what I've mentioned, this will actually improve our cardiac function. And when you have a good source of coffee, as what I mentioned, this will improve our cardiac function. At the same time, when there's good cardiac function, it will have an increased impact towards perfusing more blood towards the brain. And when that happens, it means to say that your brain is well nourished with blood. At the same time, the neurons are well nourished with blood. It means that will improve your memory retention. So again, our first letter C is calendar. Our second letter C is clock. And our third letter C is coffee. So as what I mentioned, drink coffee in moderation. So now, let's now have our fourth letter C. Our fourth letter C is chocolate. Okay, so it will be very important for us to have a good source of chocolate. It's because this chocolate is very essential because it will provide us a good source of glucose, and what we've mentioned that our brain needs glucose. So as much as possible, when we study, our brain should have a good source of glucose, because this glucose well, I'm sorry for that, this glucose is going to ganon non. So ganon yun. So this glucose is gonna be very essential for us to have our neurons function effectively. So glucose, or have a good source of chocolate, is essential in order for us to have a good neuron function or neuronal function. So as what I've mentioned, this is going to be partnered with coffee because coffee will enhance perfusion of blood. But at the same time, this glucose will usually give the best nutrients towards our neurons. Or just a recap. So our first letter C is calendar. Our second letter C is clock. And our third letter C is coffee. And our fourth letter C is chocolate. Now let's move on to a more SPG aspect of this video. You see, SPG, strong parental guidance is required. So let's proceed down to the fifth letter C. Our fifth letter C is only those in the medical fields will understand this one. So you see, only those in medical fields will understand this one. It's because this is gonna be a medical term. It's gonna be letter C. Would you guess what is that fifth letter C? Okay, so that fifth letter C is coitus. Have you heard that? It's gonna be coitus. So as what they've said, they said that coitus is gonna be the best exercise. It's because it will also improve our cardiac function. It will increase our blood pressure. It will increase our concentration. It will improve our immune system function, and so much more. So therefore, it will be very important for us to have this fifth letter C. I won't mention anymore. It's because you know it already. Okay? So when we talk about the fifth letter C, that depends on you if you have a partner. It's because if that's gonna be with partner, that's gonna be important. Okay? But of course, if you don't have a partner, do it by yourself. So that's gonna be what you call self-service, or that's what you call self-service, or you will be talking, or you will then be singing all by myself. So that's gonna be a joke. That's a highly intellectual joke. Okay, so therefore we've completed our 5 letter C of enhancing your memory. To recap our 5 C's of enhancing your study habits, our first letter C is calendar. Our second letter C is clock. Our third letter C is coffee. Our fourth letter C is chocolate. And our fifth letter C is coitus. Okay, so that is it. We have answered our 5 techniques or 5 C's in improving our study habits. So this is gonna be your host for today, Mr. Joseph by an Abang, the channel owner of Brain Blitz TV, So I hope that you will be subscribing in my channel. So if you have some friends who are actually studying right now, please inform them that Brain Blitz TV is existing already, and this Brain Blitz TV will actually have an impact from nothing into something. So that's my motto, from nothing towards something. So later on, I'll be posting some other videos that will actually enhance more of your test-taking strategies, that will enhance more of your strategy in your school, for you to have a good passing marks or a passing marks in any examinations that you will be taking. Okay? So much for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, click the notification button or bell, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much. Bye.